Hello, everyone. Once again, this is Dare to Speak. I wanted to do another video on a particular person that I was basically criticizing. There was actually two of them that I did. One of them was Bob Larson, and I was telling people how much of a fake, how much of a con artist he is. And when he was on a few talk shows, one of them being Dr. Phil, and this other show, I forgot the name of the other talk show, but it pretty much put him up against the ropes on this one. Now, there's this other lady that I made a video. There's this one woman, that I made a video on. Her name is Angelica Zambrano. And Angelica Zambrano is a woman who claimed that she had a vision of heaven and hell, that she saw Jesus, and she gave out this testimony that was supposed to be profound and all this other crap. And the thing about it is, people are actually believing it like crazy. Now, her testimony, when I heard about what type of people will go to heaven and what type of people will go to hell, was something that I've heard before growing up. And I never really bought into it because it didn't fit in with my logic. And something just didn't seem right. And this was a long time ago when I used to think that. And of course, more than ever right now, since I'm more of a atheist, agnostic, borderline, because, whatever, like 50-50 in this particular case. Angelica Zambrano is actually a con artist, in my opinion. I don't trust her. I think she's dangerous. And whoever's supporting her, family members or whatever, are basically scamming people. I think they're brainwashing people because of the fact that some of the things she was saying, they're supposed to be against God. The way she was putting down Selena, the Mexican singer Selena, that she's in hell because of her music. That her worship was for music and it wasn't for God. That it wasn't for Jesus or anything like that. And I pretty much did a video on it and on how stupid that was, because if there was any type of evil involving Selena, it wouldn't be from her own fault. A lot of suspicion from many people are saying that her father's to blame for it, because he's the one that signed the contract, and basically because she was underage, he made the decisions for her, and he was very controlling. So if anybody's soul that should be in jeopardy, it should be his, not hers. And I explained a lot on it. I did a video on it, so you're gonna have to look it up. And another one was on Michael Jackson, something she said about him. He was also a victim of this, what do you want to call it, Illuminati, or whatever you want to call it. Call it what you will. He was a victim of the industry himself. So I don't really think he was a man who was evil, who wanted to just be with Satan or or whatever for fame and fortune. I don't really think that's the case. And a lot of the things that Angelica Zambrano was saying, especially about the disobedient children and about the cartoons that they watch, that they teach kids to be disobedient. I mean, you have to look at it from a logical point of view, people. I mean, come on. You need to wake up to this shit. Not only is it very illogical. I mean, if the kids are very disobedient, very rebellious, they have an attitude problem. Well, first of all, you got to know your kids. I never had kids myself, but I did raise my nieces and nephews, especially one particular niece and nephew, and I know how they are. I know what type of character they have, and stuff like that. And I never really had a problem with them. Of course, they had their issues when they're growing up, but they were good kids. And I noticed a lot of the kids that were, and I think, brought up by very strict Christians and were basically taught to believe that you should respect your parents no matter what. You should always obey your parents no matter what. Never talk back to them. It was just a form of control. You're not really teaching your kids to be respectful. You're teaching them to be obedient type of slaves, if you want to look at it that way. So you could have more control over them. So you could tell them how to think, how to feel, how to behave. Because in your fucked up mind, that's the way it's supposed to be, according to the Bible, according to this and that. And I even said how dangerous the Bible is and how corrupted it is. And this woman, I could just tell that she's really all about money. She's gotten, very, very famous very quickly, and all these people, all these followers. I just find it very, very disturbing. And again, this is just my opinion. This is just how some situations where someone says, if you do this, you'll go to hell. You have to obey God. You have to not question things. And nobody stops to think that that's kind of like fascist in a way. I mean, who the fuck wants to give in to fascism? Even when I used to believe in God, I thought it was a little bit too harsh. And now she's basically teaching that even critical thinking and even favoring logical thinking is considered sinful. I mean, come on, we have the right to think whatever we want. If you want to question something or contradict something just because it doesn't make sense to us, we have the right to say it. Now, a lot of these people that are following her, believing in her, I'm going to say this, I don't give a fuck, believing in her bullshit testimony of her visit to heaven and hell is just a way of brainwashing people. All she's doing is brainwashing people. And I should know because I used to be a victim of that from a brainwashing Christian cult many years ago when I was in my early 20s. And the way they were preaching things was really no different than what she was preaching. Except they weren't talking about celebrities, going to hell. That was the only difference. But everything else is pretty much the same. And I felt that uncontrollable urge or that effort from their part of trying to convert me by any means necessary. And when I got spooked, when I got really uncomfortable after a few visits, I was like, these people are crazy. I would not doubt it if she's actually no different than them. The only difference is she has it at a very higher scale. Now, even for her to preach that being even just a little bit religious, or to be like a liberal Christian, is not good enough, and in fact, it's also sinful, and you're also just as in danger of going to hell as a person who disrespects God. And I'm like, what the fuck, you know? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. I just want to make this message very, very clear. Be careful with Angelica Zambrano. Be very extremely careful. Her ideas are very illogical. Her testimony is just way too far-fetched. And I believe her ministry is extremely dangerous. Be very careful. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, with that being said, I know she wouldn't like some of the videos that I did when I tore the Bible pages on the one of my videos. Well, anyways, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Questions or comments, you know what to do. And this is Dare to Speak. And to all of you, take care.